It's Friday Night Live with Vince, pregame, postgame show. Your destination for top high school football previews and wrap-ups with Vince and his team. Buckle up and hang on for Friday Night Live. And welcome back to Friday Night Live, the postgame show. Vince DeLisio here from the Varsity Sports Show, joined once again by our amazing team of co-hosts tonight, Antonio Gutierrez and Carmen Liberto. Antonio, Carmen, how's it going?
Great. It was a very interesting game of football tonight.
Yeah, I mean, insane games tonight.
We did, and we're going to find out about them. As we were talking a little bit offline, a few of the teams that were supposed to win did. There were a couple of surprises, one or two disappointments along the way, but that's just the game. So anyway, let's kick things off, and we're actually gonna shift gears right at the start here and get someone on that's been our expert in recruiting, in high school football recruiting, and some implications. He's actually in Houston, Texas. He's a big Big 12 expert. His name is Manav Gupta out of the University of Houston, and let's bring him on. Manav, how's it going?
Doing great, Vince. How are you?
Awesome. So give us kind of a wrap up. And first of all, Houston high school football, it is, and Texas in general has been the mecca for high school football for years and years and years. Why should people be concerned? People that are in Arizona be concerned about what's going on with recruiting in Houston?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really to start off, you kind of hit it on the point there. Houston, in Texas in general, you get recruits and players really from everywhere. They go from right here in Houston and they go all over the country. They become some of the team's best players, or they're, on the West Coast, East Coast, you get some of the best players that, are your freshmen coming in, and they come right here from the city of Houston and got some really big recruits. As for Arizona and Arizona State, when you look at some of their recruiting for 2026, they're 7th and 10th in the Big 12, so they have some work to do. But I have a couple of players that are on the radar for Arizona State that are some of the best high school prospects in Houston that they are actually looking at. And to start off, we'll start off with one prospect that Arizona State is locked down, and that's Carde Max Sr. from Atascocita High School here in Houston. He stepped in as quarterback last year, and he did great, but this year as a running back, that's his real position. 5'9", 210, but a great crafty runner, elite vision, breakaway speed. Sun Devils got him for 2026, so they're loaded for their running back room next year. As for 2027, this player, another running back, he's received offers from both Arizona and Arizona State. Landon Williams-Callis, he's currently undecided, but for 2027, 5'8" back out of Richmond, Texas. He's the third best running back recruit in the country, 33rd overall. He's a 4-star player, so we'll see if either Arizona or Arizona State can bring him over there and help them get their running game going. And he's been really great here in Houston, won his first state championship, helped his team get to a 16-0 undefeated record. Electric player, 45 touchdowns last year. So those two backs are kind of what Arizona and Arizona State are really looking at. And just one more player here really quick, a 4-star wide receiver, Alvin Mosley Jr. He is also in the class of 2027. He's received offer from Arizona State as well, besides other Big 12 teams such as Houston, one of the most talented wide receivers for next year's class, elite jump ball athlete. So we'll see if Arizona State can really upgrade some of their offensive players with some big-time players here in Houston.
Awesome. Folks, make sure you tune in every week to get Manav's report. He does a masterful job covering the Big 12 for the Varsity Sports Show. And, of course, obviously with Arizona State being key members of that conference, you're going to love to hear and see his reporting every week on different sports, especially football. So, Manav, thanks, and you'll be at the Houston game tomorrow.
I will be. That's going to be big time.
Awesome. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that being said, we're going to shift it into high gear, and we're going to stay in the state of Texas. We're going to head over to J.R. Lambright, who reported on a game for us tonight, and let's see if we can bring him on. J.R.,
Hey, Vince. Sorry, I'm having a camera problem, it appears.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over to Carmen, and maybe you can provide a little bit of audio for us here. There we go. We got you now. Go ahead, Carmen.
All right, Jared. Now, first of all, I just have to ask how the game was from your perspective.
It was the homecoming game for Burkeville, and they lost by like 29 points. When the game went to halftime, it was 16-8, and then when they came back in the third quarter, Legacy Christian shot up to 50, and then Jadaric, the quarterback got hurt, and the backup quarterback, Marlon Jackson, who's actually a junior now, Jadaric is a freshman. He came in and he threw a pass to Preston Gregory and for a touchdown, and then they picked up and got up to the 21, but it was fourth quarter and it was just too late in the game.
Of course, and it's never going to be good when your team loses a quarterback, and with it being homecoming, that's definitely got to be a little bit more of a blow. But you talked about earlier how this was a six-man game, as opposed to normally 11 on each side in normal football. How was that part of the game?
So there's a lot of open space on the field. Now the field is shorter; it's only 80 yards long, and it's narrower. It's only 40 yards wide, but that's still, think about the math there. There's still a lot of space compared to where you got 11 men on the side.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for reporting on that game. I hope it was, a good watch for you, even though the homecoming team lost. But thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
We'll see each other around.
Thanks, JR. All right, moving right along. Let's send it on over to a thrilling game between Horizon Notre Dame Prep with our very own Devin Blankenship. Take it away, Antonio.
What's up, Devin? How you doing, man?
Hey, man. How's it going?
I mean, wow. I'll let you get into it, but what a game you had out there, Horizon. But I mean, I'll let you start talking about it. I mean, just what a thriller.
It was thriller. I don't know if there's a word that you can find to describe this game. It was 20-10 Notre Dame Prep late in the fourth. Horizon gets a turnover, gets a field goal, and then all of a sudden it's 20-20 and we're headed into overtime. And it was James Klopfenstein. He had 4 total touchdowns tonight. The Horizon offense, once it got started, although it was late, it wasn't able to be stopped.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this game, Horizon already had an amazing running offense, but I mean, today they really showed off their passing offense. What can you speak to about that?
Like we said in the pregame show, although Notre Dame Prep did get out of here with a win, they were able to stop the run early, which forced Horizon to have to throw the ball. Carter Puma ended up throwing a pick 6 early in the game, and then he came back a couple drives later and threw another interception. And it wasn't until late in the fourth quarter that we saw Horizon's passing game and just kind of offense in general really get going.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about in the pregame, Notre Dame Prep had 12 interceptions coming into the game, so that plays a big role. But when it goes into overtime like that and they go for 2 for the win, what were you kind of thinking on the sideline right there?
Actually, so I was able to get kind of right behind the pylon, and it looked like he was short. Everyone thought they were going to call it short, but he did end up getting in, and it was an insane finish to that game.
How many overtimes was that technically at the end?
3.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Notre Dame Prep went for 2 in the third overtime, and then that's when they won it.
I mean, 20-20 going into overtime, and then 42-41 a final score. I mean, that's just insane.
I want to say the score was 20-10 with 4 minutes left in the game. So really, from the 4-minute mark remaining in the game until the triple overtime, our heads were spinning with the amount of touchdowns that were scored. It was crazy.
Well, thank you so much for being out there, and I hope you have a great night, man.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Awesome. Nice work, Devin, in covering Horizon and Notre Dame Prep. Horizon's first loss of the season. Moving right along, we are going to send it back to Carmen, who is going to welcome on Anissa Reynolds, who was out at Saguaro tonight.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. Well, that was a pretty tough game, once again for Saguaro. And, seeing it from, on the TV, it was very interesting to see the quarterback switch very late into the fourth quarter and then him make that immediate touchdown. So what do you kind of think about that, given that it was so late?
Yeah, I think it was just a switch of sort of momentum for Saguaro. They, like you said, it was a little late, but definitely needed for them. Probably should have been done, once halftime had happened, but what can you do?
Unfortunately, nothing you can do right there. But, it was very evident that Saguaro was really just giving it their all, especially in the last quarter. And what do you think this could be almost a learning experience for them?
Definitely when I talked to Coach Kelly after the game, he was saying he was proud of them for being positive. So that learning moment of, even when they were down, they were fighting back. They were down 18-3 for most of the game. So for them to come back and even have it to be as close as the end score was pretty admirable.
Absolutely. And it's always good to stay positive, especially after a loss.
Yes.
Higley came in pretty strong. They kept Saguaro down for a while. And how did the team look when they kind of were able to push themselves back onto the scoreboard?
Definitely way more positive. The fans were getting into it. The team was getting into it. All the little plays, getting up after a big sack, cheering, screaming, yelling. So that sort of thing was sort of keeping them going throughout the game.
That's good. Well, hopefully they can kind of keep a positive attitude. Next week's a new week. And thank you so much for reporting on this game, and I hope you get home safe tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anissa. So moving right along. So Saguaro falls to 2-4 on the season. And each of these losses literally could have gone either way. Tonight, losing by 7. And combined on the season, I think all 4 of those losses were a total combined of 14 points. So, something really low to that effect. And so that tells you how close of these losses have been for the SaberCats. Let's transition now, move on, and we are going to send it to Antonio, who's going to welcome Ava Lambatis.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing, Ava?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm good. Another dominant win for Desert Mountain. They win 49-14. So, what was working for them on offense tonight?
It was insanity. Their run game, their passing game, it was all working for them. Our player of the game, Easton Connor, had an incredible game. He had 2 touchdowns. He had so many running yards. He was just on fire.
Yeah, when I saw Easton Connor in person, he was a dog out there. He just doesn't go down after the first tackle. So you said player of the game was Easton Connor, but that defense, 14 points only given up, and they gave up 0 last week. What can you speak to about that?
As Conrad Hamilton said before the game, their defense had to be on point tonight, and it was just that. They were perfect. Their red zone defense, their quarterback for Cactus Shadows is incredible. They got down the field pretty quick, but Desert Mountain's red zone defense is just unstoppable. They're insane. And it made for a really great game, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, bend don't break. That's always the oldest adage in football right there. And it was a home game for Desert Mountain. How was that student section out there?
Yeah, home game is their homecoming game, so it was rowdy. They were throwing powder in the sky. They were loud. I could barely hear myself think at some points, but it was an incredible atmosphere to be a part of.
Yeah, when you spoke to Coach after the game, he was always a big guy on just building into next week. What did he kind of tell you post game after a big win?
He said it's one game at a time. They play every game like it's a championship game, and they want to be a state champion this year.
Yeah, they're playing like it right now. They're one of the best contenders. 1 loss on the season going into it, so that's amazing. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a good night and go home safe.
Have a good night. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ava. And Desert Mountain, Coach Conrad Hamilton. And make sure you listen in tomorrow morning on the Varsity Sports Show. Coach will be joining us for his weekly segment at 9:15 on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Let's send it over to St. Mary's tonight. St. Mary's had a big one against Peoria, and our very own Tomasa Perez reported on that one.
Hey, Tomasa, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, you had Brophy and Shadow Ridge tonight, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there was an absolute huge win. 43-7. Brophy really kind of kept their foot on the other team's back feet when they finished very strong. And to you, what do you think was kind of the key to kind of finish that win?
I think it was definitely everyone's mindset, especially because when I talked to Coach, he said their focus tonight was just to remember no penalties, keep going strong, remember what happened last game, like just having that like motivation to remember everything they went over. It definitely went well for them. They all had a good drive. Defense went really well. It gave Shadow Ridge definitely a lot of challenges until probably the beginning of fourth quarter when they got their first touchdown. Yeah.
That's great. It was very close to being kind of a complete shutdown. And to you, how did Brophy kind of react to Shadow Ridge's only touchdown? Did they let their foot off the gas, or did they just kind of keep going?
They just kept going. They, with the touchdown, they didn't really stop their drive. They all had the same like motivation going. Case Vandenbosch had a good game. He was our player of the game. He definitely led that drive, especially since it was senior night and homecoming. So, it was nice to see that, like, even though they got that one touchdown, they knew, like, it's almost the end of the game. Don't worry. Like, just keep the motivation going, especially because the game was mercy ruled. So the time just kept going even after their touchdown.
Absolutely. I mean, it definitely felt like the game really flew by, and I think that's definitely a big part of it. Well, thank you so much for reporting on that game. Amazing job, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you.
And we are going to send it off to commercial after Tomasa.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show. Hey fans, Vince with the Varsity Sports Show. You've had the rest. Now treat yourself to the best Japanese grill in Arizona. It's the Boss. Boss Bachi Japanese Grill in Mesa. Grilled shrimp, steak, and all the best veggies with or without a twist of spice. Sure to please everyone. Dine in or take out. Located at University and Country Club in Mesa. Open daily. 602-859-3759. The Boss. Boss Bachi. Hablamos Español.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this post-game show on the Varsity Sports Show. And we're here with Anastasia tonight. I mean, she was out here at Mountain View versus Buena. And, I mean, they won 48-20, a pretty dominant win on the road, huh?
Yes, it was a pretty dominant win. Sorry, you were cutting out a bit. But, yeah, 48-28. Our player of the game was Talon Arnett, who's doing really well with the ball. He was really weaving through the Colts defense, and I really think that the chemistry he has between him and Brady Goodman, the quarterback, was incredible tonight. It was really nice to watch.
Yeah, and I mean they won. They scored 48 points tonight. I mean, they scored 50 last week. When you spoke to Coach post game, what was he kind of speaking about to take this into next week?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Yeah, I mean, so they scored 48 points this week and 50 last week. Their offense is firing on all cylinders. What was Coach speaking about post-game to kind of take the success into next week?
Yeah, so Coach Litton was basically talking about cleaning up the flags they had during the game and hoping to kind of bring the consistency they had on offense into not next week, but 2 weeks from now, their game. Yeah.
Awesome. And then you spoke about their offense was, I mean, amazing tonight, but they only gave up 20 points on the road in a tough environment. What can you speak to about their defense?
Yeah, it just seemed like their defense knew exactly where the Colts were going to go. They were really locked in on defense. They had a great game all around, offensively and defensively.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, it's a pretty far drive back for them back to Mountain View, but I'm sure it's gonna be a happy bus ride back. And thank you for going out and broadcasting that game. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
Awesome. Thanks, Anastasia. So, yeah, that was an hour and a half drive out of Tucson to go to Sierra Vista. And but it was worth it, right? I mean, Mountain View came away with a big win. They drove much further to get there. So anyway, but quite a win for the Toros as they continue to roll. Let's bring Carmen back, and I'm just curious. Any surprises so far with you two with games tonight?
I was a little surprised about, I talked about it earlier about the Horizon game. I did think that they were going to continue to be undefeated, but when I, rolling into the game and I saw them so far down, Notre Dame with 20, and then I want to say it was like 3, I was very surprised. And then to see them end up losing just by 1 point was a little insane to me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I would
sure.
say,
What about you, Antonio?
Yeah, I would say the Horizon game as well. I mean, triple overtime is always crazy, but also kind of the Desert Mountain game, I thought it would be a little bit closer. Cactus Shadows has one of the best offenses in the state. I mean, they got that quarterback. He can just throw it all around the field. But they were held pretty much to, only 14 points. That's pretty good for Desert Mountain.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, that being said, I think we're going to send it over to Carmen with Marla Mundo, who is in Las Vegas tonight. And let's bring Carmen on, or I should say Marla on with Carmen. Marla.
Hi, guys.
All right, Marla, how was the game? I got to start out.
I got to say, it was really just a dominant win by Bishop Gorman. They won 58-0 and had a safety. There was no running game going on for Palo Verde. It was really just such a dominant win for Bishop Gorman.
Absolutely. Great to see. We talked about Bishop Gorman a little bit earlier and kind of about their defense and their offense and kind of the key components for them. And, they came out not only a win, but just a complete shutdown to Palo Verde. And what do you think was kind of the key into being able to keep them at just a 0 score?
It was that whole defensive line from Bishop Gorman. They had multiple tackles for loss. Palo Verde is really a run-first offense, and they weren't able to get anything on the ground at all. That defense, either they got no yards or negative yards.
And that's pretty crazy to see, but, it's really great for Bishop Gorman's defense tonight. Now, to you, what was your favorite play of the game?
Oh, gosh, it would have to be our player of the game was Kiana Watson, and he had a 48-yard long touchdown where it was just every player on Bishop Gorman was blocking for him. He almost got tackled down at the sideline, and he got one really crucial block that sent him to the end zone.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for going out there to report, and glad you were able to make it in with us with the Wi-Fi, but we'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Sorry about that, guys.
Thanks, Marla. Okay. Let's head on out to Buckeye, Arizona with our very own Abigail Hardy, who is out at Yonker tonight reporting on that big rivalry, Yonker and Estrella Foothills. Abigail.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, Abigail?
I'm good. I'm not ready for this drive back I have to make, but the game was totally worth it.
Yeah, Yonker comes out with a 42-20 win. We talked about it earlier. They're outscoring their opponents like crazy.
Yes.
And they scored 42 tonight. What was really working for them on offense?
Oh, definitely Jeremiah. both sides of the field. His connection with our player of the game, actually Larry Moore Jr., was just on top of it. I talked to Larry Moore Jr. after the game, actually, and that last season both of them were out of the season with injuries. So coming into this season, they were ready. The momentum was high, they were juiced up. And this, like we talked about earlier, was their first regional game. And so I mean, Coach Alonzo Highsmith was very excited for this win.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's always great picking up those region wins, but defense holding them to 20 points at home. I'm sure that crowd was playing a little bit of a factor, but how good was that defense tonight?
Oh, that defense really stopped them, especially number 99, Robert Calvin, which we talked to the coach before the game. He said, you want to watch out for this guy, especially all throughout the game. But that last play, that last sack to just finalize it, that number 99, he went down with it. And then you saw that coach just storming on the field because he knew he got that win tonight.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Drive safe.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully
have a good night.
Music on the way back.
All right. Taking one for the team, Abigail, who's out in Buckeye tonight. Nice job. And in a big win for Yonker and the Yonker community. So really love working with them. That's been a great partnership in the far West Valley for us. And athletic director Jackie Garcia has been a in our corner and a strong advocate. So let us now we're going to get to St. Mary's in Peoria. So Carmen, take it away with Blessing.
All right, Blessing. That was a crazy game, going to overtime, especially the teams being tied 4 minutes left. Like, how did the composure kind of look with both teams? Oh, I can't hear you, Blessing.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
My apologies. Yeah, we kind of talked about it within our broadcast that both teams were able to compose themselves throughout the entire game. And also they were able to keep that momentum and that energy up from the same key players and also from the coaches. There are a couple times where some coaches didn't agree with some plays, or it was like we thought it was a touchdown, but the pass was incomplete. And throughout the entire game, I will say that both teams did a really good job of just staying focused and ultimately getting the win. The last quarter, the score was 29-29, and that's how we got into overtime. No one scored that entire last quarter. So it was just equally good offense and defense on both sides of the field.
Absolutely. And that's great that they were able to stay composed, especially in such high intensity. And, we talked about it a little bit earlier with, the Peoria coach kind of emphasizing, discipline and such. How well do you think that ended up playing out for them?
I think that's ultimately what allowed them to win that game. Also, we kind of just talked about their composure, but I think their sportsmanship was amazing. I got a chance to talk to player of the game, Javen Bell, and I was like, hey, what was your key factors and how were you able to have so much energy throughout the entire game? St. Mary's latched on that you were the key player and you still had that momentum. And he kept saying, my brothers, my teammates. And I think that goes to show how well of a coach that Coach Golden is, because a lot of kids aren't going to get that just playing high school football. That's all through coaching, and that's all how they carry themselves throughout practice, pregame, postgame, and they always had a good attitude.
Absolutely. And that's absolutely amazing, what we love to see. Well, thank you so much for reporting on that game, Blessing, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
Awesome. Nice work, Blessing. So as we're trying to get a final score for a game up in Roseville, California that our very own Rodolfo Gomez was reporting on for us. Let's bring him in and he can talk a little bit about some of the highlights. And I tried looking up the score as well, and I didn't see it with Oakmont. And you left a little earlier in the game, but give us some highlights of some things that happened in that game.
Well, Vince, it was a phenomenal game. Both teams, like I said at the pregame show, they were pretty balanced at first. In the first half, Oakmont came out just passing the ball. That's their power, passing the ball. The quarterback, Elijah Stevens, was very adamant to throwing the ball up the field, and they were able to get a touchdown. Meanwhile, the center, as we were talking about the pregame, their defense stepped up huge. They forced a fumble in the first half, and they kept that same momentum throughout the game. So it was a pretty even matchup throughout the whole game.
Awesome. Well, this was your first go at reporting live from a game. Do you have fun out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw some old faces back in my school, back at Oakma. Great people and great community.
Okay, great. Well, our very own Rodolfo Gomez reporting from Sacramento, California, actually tonight in Roseville, a suburb of Sacramento. So thanks so much for reporting, and looking forward to circling back with you next week.
Absolutely, Vince. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right, you guys, that is the end of another show here on Friday Night Live, the post-game report. I'll circle it back to you guys. Carmen, favorite game tonight?
I think I got to go with the St. Mary's and the Peoria game. I mean, watching that game, I kind of felt myself just really sticking to that game all night. It was just amazing defense and offense for both of them. And I really loved what the coaches said, especially about each other's teams before the game. That really sold it for me.
Awesome. Antonio, how about you?
Yeah, I'm glad Carmen didn't take my choice. So I pick Horizon. I mean, Horizon Notre Dame Prep. I mean, triple overtime. That's kind of movie stuff right there. And I mean, Horizon takes the loss in the end, but it's still a great game.
Just a reminder, folks, tomorrow morning, tune into the Varsity Sports Show from 9 to 11 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, as well as the live stream link on KDUS1060.com, wherever you're at. And you'll hear from the coaches. 9:15, we've got Desert Mountain coach Conrad Hamilton. At 9:45, Saguaro coach Darius Kelly. 10 a.m., Brophy coach Jason Jewell. 10:15, we have Yonker coach Alonzo Highsmith. And at 10:30, we've got Tyson Ditmore from Horizon. Don't miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow morning, and a lot of great coaches and a lot of great content. On behalf of our amazing field correspondent staff reporting from Arizona and Nevada, as well as our co-hosts for the evening, Antonio Gutierrez and Carmen Liberto, my name is Vince Delicio. Thanks again for tuning in to Friday Night Live post-game show. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Take care. It's Friday Night Live with Vince, pregame, postgame show. Your destination for top high school football previews and wrap-ups with Vince and his team. Buckle up and hang on for Friday Night Live.